Hey guys, it's Dr. Sebastian Zals. I'm going to go over today how to even out a squat, that crooked squat that a lot of times can be affecting your back. And again, this is part of that back pain flow series or the back discomfort series where a lot of times you can use movements like this throughout the morning and the afternoon to really chill the back out, and it really helps it long term by getting it desensitized. Now again, the hip can be a consideration with loading into the spine. And imagine if I'm loading all into this hip here, the spine tends to counteract and then counteract, and you have all these weird curves and stuff that people tell you got to address. But really, why don't we just slide this thing back? And half the time, getting this thing back, if there's no real threat, no real problem, it's just getting the brain, subconscious brain, to really believe it again, to believe that it can work. So there's a couple things I'm going to show you today that can do that. And this is going to make the glutes burn, all right? That's part of the thing. And what I'm going to do is mainly spend a lot of my time on the side, which is maybe the one that is offloaded. Now, certainly you can do it on both sides, though. So the first thing is we'll do something real simple. We'll do a clamshell. So a clamshell is an exercise that a lot of people do. And actually, you know what? I'll go this way. Act like this is the side that I was offloading for me, because I got this speaker right here. So first thing is lock this thing to the floor. Okay, make sure this side is stuck to the floor and there's a cactus under this side, so you're really attentive with it. Now, I'm not going to be super specific with this. We just want the cheek to start lighting up on the side that's offloaded. So we're going to go here, and here, and here, and down, and just make little squares, okay? If you want to make a little circle, that's fine too. If you want the legs straight, that's fine too. If you're not comfortable with doing it this way, and you feel like weak on this side, then you can go like this too. But then certainly expose the hip to different ranges of motion, because if you don't, then the subconscious brain's going to think, well, I don't know how to do that yet. And we're just really educating it, really, okay? So get this thing nice and warmed up on the side. Nice and warmed up. And eventually, once this thing's warm enough, we'd probably go to the other side. And then you'd flip over. And then you flip over and do the other thing, which we're going to do a diagonal sit. Now imagine this side here is now the downside, because I can't do it because of this microphone here. So we'd flip over and we do this side right here. Now we call this the diagonal sit with glute bridge. It's a real easy one that we use in clinic that we have a lot of success with getting people with back pain to really feel better really quickly. So all we got to do is, first off, realize this side's dead here. And we're just going to rock in. I like to think if I was telling someone a secret right here and you say, hey, come here, let's do a secret, right? You'd lean in, all right? You wouldn't necessarily turn away from them. You'd lean in. So I want this side right here to feel like it's starting to kind of bind but not be painful, but I want the bottom side glute to feel like it's starting to stretch. So it's going to be like this, all right? Next is this point right here. Imagine there's a credit card right there, and you want to dent the credit card against the floor so hard that you see all the numbers light up. And when you're done and you unload the credit card, you can still see the numbers on the floor, right? It's dented into the floor, literally dented into the floor. So I'm going to rock in, tell the secret, dent the floor, dent the card, make the numbers appear on the floor, hold it for 5 seconds or so, and then unload. Here we go again. In, tell the secret, dent the numbers. Push, 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 push. Now this side's just kind of chilling, okay? It's not really doing a lot of work. It's a balancer. Notice I can move it if I wanted to. You do this about 3, 4, 5 times, then you're set right there. And eventually we're going to go into a frozen skater, or basically a single leg RDL. And you do the standing now. We do both sides, obviously. Now this one's really going to get in the cheek as well. First thing you realize, you're going to look off a cliff a little bit, and you have a little pond back here. It's not very thick, all right? It's a thin pond. Already I can feel this cheek start to light up here. Notice the spine is straight. I'm not rounding and I'm not lifting up, okay? I'm just trying to push a little bit along the ice right there and just hang, all right? If you feel it in the hamstring, it's probably because you're going backwards like this, all right? Put 99.99% of the weight into this foot. This one's just a balancer back there. Now I got this cheek really lit up right there, and I'm just going to hold it, all right? If you feel real snazzy, stand up, right? And slowly get into it again. This is kind of the next phase on these things. You just kind of get the cheeks loading through movement, not just a hold. If you've ever been through rehab for a lot of times, like knee issues or shoulder ones, they'll start you on these non-movement based exercises just holding you there because they're the safest, all right? Eventually you go through movement, and eventually you go through movement with weight. So you can add a weight to this if you wanted to, but for this point in time, we wouldn't. So that's the basics of it. So when you start to get the cheeks really working, it supports the spine. And I've been surprised so many times that when you just get a cheek working, that all of a sudden the person's like, oh my gosh, my back feels so much better. And you think by going to the spot and just doing tissue work or doing adjustment or somewhere along the spine would work. But surprisingly, when those areas work, it means that the body's asking for something. It's asking for some support, and you're giving the back a chance. Now, if this was helpful to you, share with a friend, thumbs up, and just remember, we do have these every week, and I'll probably do about 10, 15 of these or so in a row before we go on to another topic. The reason why these are out and these flows are out right now is because we're trying to promote a book to get back pain to stop becoming an epidemic. So if you look in the corner over here, we're going to have a book that I wrote. It's my story about back pain, as well as some mental exercises that people can go through to kind of really get a mental check on why they're not getting better. You know, what do they believe about their back to be a hindrance? Do they believe it's broken? Do they believe it's a weak back? Do they believe it's inherited? And these are all things that can't change. So once you get over the point of realizing that things can change, you start to try things and you're surprised by the results, okay? So this book is intended and written for someone like you to give to your friend or spouse. Someone who has been ignoring their back and is just realizing and they're thinking that they need to live their life with back pain. So give it to them, and hopefully they'll read it and they'll get motivated, and that's all I'm asking for. And then after that, there's programs, there's providers, there's other places where they can get help. But all I'm asking for is first that they start to read it and start to realize the truths about back pain. So if you like this again, thumbs up. I'll see you guys next week.